I'm not sure I remember how to do this.
Could it really be?
I'm back, baby.
My old friend John Carter back in the saddle?
Oh.
After almost a month apart. This Friday would have been 1 month.
Almost 50 years of doing this stuff. And I got to admit, a little nervous after 3 weeks off. Of course, 2 of those 3 weren't very nice.
No.
Yeah.
So just as a refresher,
Yeah.
you got the old retinal detachment surgery done, which I'm slowly learning may not be as uncommon as I first thought when you gave me that initial phone call saying, I'm not going to be here.
Yeah, judging by the amount of people that I saw at the eye clinic here and in Calgary, there's a lot of this going on. Like when I had my surgery 2 weeks ago Sunday, there was like 2 women right after me. And that was like they started at supper time Sunday night.
And judging from some of the comments I've seen on the Facebook, just posting about you.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying, hey, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Have the T-shirt.
I was fortunate I didn't have to rent any equipment that basically locks you into a position where you can't lift your head
My God.
for a couple weeks.
Well, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
You're a little red around the left eye. But
Sure.
overall, I mean,
Not bad.
I'm not going to say $1 million, but $200? You look like $200 this morning.
Well, you spent $30 on me for our anniversary, which I really appreciate, and I'm sorry that I missed our anniversary. Of all the dates to miss, I missed the 10th anniversary.
10 years of John and Steve. Don't worry, here's to 10 more days before we get fired.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't say years, because that'd be a stretch for old Johnny.
Let's just take it week by week. What's the vision like in the left eye?
I don't know. They said it was 2040 right now, and we'll never get any better in 2020. But she's a little blurry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you will be able to do your job. Not that you could before you left.
I wasn't very good at hitting these buttons before. Chances are pretty good. There may be an error or two.
If I was a betting man,
Yep.
which I am, I'm thinking tomorrow, this morning is going to be all screwed up.
Well, you're kicking it off on the right foot, aren't you, huh?
Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 102.1.
Well, you know how you're one of the happiest guys I know.
Yeah.
And that may be extending the truth a little bit. Here's the gist of the story. Being around birds makes us much happier.
And smarter.
Oh, smarter. Mm-hmm. I don't have that information, but happier for sure. This comes from German researchers.
Of course.
The Germans have the best research. So they found that being around a wide variety of birds can increase life satisfaction equivalent to a $150 per week raise.
Oh, balls.
Okay, so here's how it broke down. They took data from the 2012 European Quality of Life Survey and to measure how species of birds can affect people. So 26,000 people in 26 European countries involved in this study. Their findings, the happiest Europeans were those who experience numerous different bird species in their daily life.
Is that right?
Birds equals happiness, and you are Mr. Bird himself.
Well, I might agree with that story. Obviously, they don't have any woodpeckers in Europe because that damn thing is back.
So you got one on your chimney?
Yeah, and Chrissy, who works one of our writers, she does everything around here. She commented on her woodpecker on their house on Facebook, and I saw that, and I replied to it and said, "Yeah, we got the same damn problem."
So cousins, maybe?
Yeah, well, could be, but they're mating. They're mating when they're banging out there, like they're banging their head against the whatever they can find.
So a lot of banging all around is what you're saying. But we have one digging in the side of the building here.
Oh, Stephen, count the woodpeckers. There's tons of them around here. And they dig into the pretend facade of the building.
Okay, so in Europe, bird's good. In Canada...
Bird's good. I mean, that thing just makes so bloody much noise. Okay. We've got doves in our neighborhood, and I'll see them and hear them.
Coo, coo, coo. And then when they cry, it's more like, coo.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they sound, but I never see them together. They were together the other day on the fence.
Doves?
And they were 2 doves, a matching pair, deeply in love. And I watched them.
Let me ask you a question. Was there also a partridge and a pear tree there? Because you might have been You might have been looking at Christmas songs on YouTube again.
Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
So St. Patrick's Day is Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any Irish pubs in the city anymore? I don't think there are.
Ooh, well,
Remember we used to go to, what was the old name?
The old Dublin's.
Yeah, Dublin's.
It's now a medical center.
Which I also know well.
So, yeah, you've been going there for years.
Yeah, I have.
I honestly, offhand, I don't know.
Yeah. I was just showing you a picture of the river in Chicago every year, although not last year because of COVID. They dye the river green, and it looks really cool. So I'm showing you this picture, and people have been asking them, you dyed the river green this year? And they wouldn't commit because they didn't want. So secretly on Saturday, they went and they dumped some dye in the river, and now they got this big green river. It lasts for 2 days.
Yeah, you just showed me the picture. It looks spectacular.
It does.
Looks like somebody dumped toxic waste in the river, actually, is what it looks like.
That's what you thought it was, but it's just dye.
Just like a normal food dye?
Yeah.
Like, how much food coloring would that take to dye the river green? Like, if we wanted to dye the South Saskatchewan River green this year, how much food dye would we have to drop off Finley Bridge?
Not as much as you might think, and that's coming up a little later this morning.
Oh, you have some info. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust that food coloring. Yellow dye number 5. Yeah. That's what they have in the Twinkies.
Yeah.
I only know that because of Die Hard.
Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
What do you got for me?
Well, it's funny that we just talked about this, and this is bells are going to go off in your head. There's loneliness, and then there's so desperate for human contact that I'll voluntarily argue with Comcast loneliness. A new survey found 2 out of 5 people say they feel less connected to other people because of the pandemic, and 1 out of 6 say they've even called a customer service line just to talk to another human being.
Now, you mentioned Comcast.
Yeah, and customer service. We just talked about that.
Well, Comcast just happens to be who I was taking calls for.
I know.
Now, it's a major internet and cable provider in the United States.
And so why are we doing that up here? Why would you be a customer service in Lethbridge, Alberta, for this service that's only available in the U.S.?
Because it's cheaper to have the office here.
What were they paying you? About $6 an hour?
Oh, I don't remember what minimum wage was back then. Maybe $7 an hour is what I was getting. But it was a huge operation. Like, it was an old Safeway that they converted into this giant operation, rows upon rows of desks and computers.
And filled with people?
Oh, yeah.
Hundreds.
On the weekend, that place was jam-packed, baby.
Really?
But on several occasions, I think I was taking calls from Chicago and maybe Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
And there was twice I can think of offhand where somebody called, maybe made a payment on their bill, and then they just talked for an hour. And I'm not even joking, Johnny. They would sit there and they would talk, and I would throw in the occasional, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And they would it seemed like they were just desperate to talk to anybody. Yeah.
So it's true.
Absolutely.
The survey also found that 2/3 of people say they'd prefer to talk to a customer service person who's nice as opposed to someone who gets the job done fast. They just want to talk to somebody that's nice. And I can tell you this, over the past few weeks, it seems we've had a couple of issues, and I get all fired up because you know me. And I get on with the customer service person, and if they're really nice, I just cool right down.
Mm-hmm. And it's for this very reason, working at that call center, taking those types of calls. Whenever I call a customer service rep now, I am extremely polite, no matter what the situation, because I know what they're dealing with.
One of life's lessons you learned there.
Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
When we started the show, you casually mentioned that I should grow a pair.
Well, that was a little harsh.
No, it wasn't. But as you know, I am now a homeowner.
Yes, you are.
Like that happened right before your whole eye thing. So haven't really been able to talk to you about a lot of this home ownership stuff.
Tell me all about it.
Now, you especially, a lot of people, but you especially have called into question my man card on several occasions.
Well,
true or untrue?
True. The shoe fits perfectly.
Thank you very much. So moved into the house on February 19th. Do you know how many trips I've made to the hardware store since then?
Oh.
We're talking Home Depots, your Canadian Tires, Restore. Several trips to the Restore.
I'm surprised they let you in.
Now, I'm thinking, like, you told me to grow a pair. I think they've grown and they're ready to burst.
Really?
Because they've grown so much.
Don't let them burst in here, okay? So you're fixing things. Are they staying fixed? Would be my first question.
I had to do a little gate work. The gate was sticky.
Gates are tough, man. And
the gate going onto the green space in my backyard, for some reason, it was built right by a sprinkler head.
Of course.
So
wasn't a lot of thought went into that, was there?
I don't know what the thought was there.
So it's possible to open the gate to go into the green space and you get hammered by a sprinkler?
So what I had to do, this is one of the first things I did, was I went to Restore, bought myself a $6 saw.
Of course.
Took the gate off and then sawed off the bottom of one of the boards. So when I open the gate, it doesn't get hit on the sprinkler. I thought that was kind of a Handyman Steve job.
You know, if this radio thing doesn't work out, you might have a future as a handyman.
No, I guarantee not.
Have you got duct tape?
You know what? I don't.
You idiot. Have you got Gorilla Glue?
Yeah, but that's strictly for my hair.
Okay.
And this is going to blow your mind. Yesterday, I went onto YouTube and started researching how to put grass seeds on my lawn.
What?
Best methods to get that grass growing.
Really? This from a guy who refused to water grass in the past?
Well, I have my own lawn now.
Oh, I see. So you didn't give a crap about the lawn where you were renting? I hope your ex-landlords are listening so they can maybe bring some fresh tomatoes and eggs over to your new house.
The statement you just made is like 95% true. I gave a little crap. I mowed that lawn. I mowed it.
You mowed it?
I mowed it.
When it needed to be mowed.
Yeah, which was like twice this summer because I didn't water it, so it didn't grow.
This is Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
This one's for the ladies. I think you'll get a kick out of this.
Okay.
New study looked at the top things women have in their purse. And they now include face masks and hand sanitizer.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the top 5. Telephone, keys, a face mask, your wallet or credit cards, and an average of 2 bottles of hand sanitizer. Tissues, pens, and lip balm also made the list. Here's some other random facts, ladies. Listen up. The average woman cleans her purse out less than once a year.
Yeah.
1 in 10 said, yeah, I'm really not sure if I've ever cleaned out the purse I'm currently using. 1 in 8 would be too embarrassed to let somebody dig through their bag. And 1/4 admit there's a decent chance you'd find some old candy wrappers in there.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, and 10% of women have panicked because they couldn't find something, and then it turned out it was in their purse after all. Now, I do not carry a purse. I have a man bag.
Yeah, close enough.
It's an old CJCY bag that is black as, and I just throw all my stuff in there. So it's like a purse. I have lost stuff in there. I have lost stuff in there and looked and looked and looked and looked and not found it, and then I find it. So I know your struggle, ladies.
Yeah. There's been many times where I'm in the other room, but I can still hear John say, "Oh, fudge, I lost my keys. I just can't find anything in here."
How many times have you honestly heard me say, "Oh, fudge"?
Never. That would be the first time right there. But was it the man bag, or was it years ago when you used to carry the briefcase to work? Because when we first started 10 years ago...
Yeah, I had a briefcase.
You had the briefcase. Now, is that where the electrical tape and the sandpaper was?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I'd transferred them over to my satchel, but apparently I didn't.
I'll never forget that. You were cleaning out your bag, and there's electrical tape and sandpaper. And this is like right after I'd met you. Yeah. Like, I didn't know you too well. So I'm thinking, what the hell does this guy do on the weekends that he needs? Like, should I be concerned?
This is Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
The most wonderful thing happened to me yesterday after we had this conversation on air.
Oh?
I brought up a story about how being around birds makes us much happier.
Yeah, of course it does.
And it was according to research out of Germany. They studied a bunch of European countries, and the happiest people had a wide variety of birds in their daily life.
Beautiful.
So it was about 5:30 yesterday afternoon. I'm washing my face in the bathroom, and I heard this, just setting up the story.
Yeah, okay.
I was in the bathroom washing my face, and I heard this bizarre noise. And I walked over to the window, and there was a woodpecker.
Of course.
In my backyard. And then another one popped out, 2 woodpeckers in my backyard. And I'm watching the woodpeckers, and then all of a sudden, a robin starts hopping along.
What?
I'm like, are you kidding me? And then some other little bird was on the fence. I'm not sure what that one was.
Probably a sparrow.
And then a dove came out of nowhere.
Oh, come on.
I kid you not.
What are you talking about? So you got like 4 or 5 different bird breeds in your backyard.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here watching the birds dance around my backyard, and I couldn't help but think, this is a window into Carter's life right now.
You enjoyed it, didn't you?
I was intrigued by it.
Did you try talking to them?
I did not. I was tapping on the glass of the window, though.
They don't like that. That's like being a lizard in an aquarium and you tap on the glass.
But they're not
It
fish.
pisses them off.
I was just flabbergasted by the wide variety of birds in my backyard.
And you know it's spring.
Yeah. But we
So they're
talked.
mating.
So you saying that they were
Well, they
using
may not
my
even-
backyard as some sort of orgy?
Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
Are you I know you're not, but I'm going to ask anyway. Wine drinker?
I didn't know. I mean, I would enjoy the occasional glass of Merlot or something like that.
Such an idiot.
The cabinet.
I know the Mrs. Krysak enjoys the odd glass.
Yes.
The more you think a wine costs, the better you think it tastes. Say you're drinking a $25 bottle of Chardonnay, and they go, oh, that's really good. And then you give them an $11 one. That's not as good. If you don't tell them the price, they can't tell you nothing.
That's right.
It's usually the way it works. Now, I learned this lesson a long time ago. Not that I'm a big wine drinker, but basically it was a liquor store owner that was very honest that said, there are so many wines right now, literally gabillions of them. Find one you like and drink it. If it costs $8, good for you. If it costs $28, not so good for you, but you're drinking wine you enjoy. The cost doesn't matter, but people think it does. Oh, it's $30. It's got to be good.
Yeah, I've always been a Copper Moon kind of guy. You're
Well, that
$7.
explains a lot.
You know what really choked me? Not that long ago, we were talking about Valentine's Day and having
Yes.
to buy the flowers and that, and the cost of the flowers
Yes.
really cheesed me off.
Yeah.
Same girl I was dating. Anyway, we winded up going out one time for Valentine's Day dinner. One of the rare times I've ever done that. So wasn't quite sure the wine thing or how that worked. So I said, give us a bottle of wine for the table. Here. Spare no expense for
There you go.
my sweetie. Anyway, they dropped off a bottle of Copper Moon. And then when I got the bill, they charged me $40. $40 for a bottle of Copper Moon.
You could have paid $7 for that anywhere else.
Exactly. Even to bring it in, I think there's the corking fee that they have to charge.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was just, that was another reason why I was done with Valentine's Day.
But you were impressing someone, too. Good on you. It was
Yeah.
a good effort.
She ended up horribly dumping me, but yeah.
Did you kind of pick the cheapest one on there, or did you just say, bring me a bottle?
I don't recall.
Yeah.
I want to think it was something like, bring me a bottle and spare no expense. Bring me your finest bottle of Copper Moon.
Oxymoron.
Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
Here's a good question we're going to throw out there. When you were a kid, did you play games at the playground where you might have attacked each other with sticks and rocks? We sure did.
Oh, I'm sure.
And wasn't necessarily safe. Those types of games have gone extinct, of course, with all the safety regulations this year. So there was a discussion on Reddit where people are sharing toys and games from when they were a kid that would be considered too dangerous today. And playgrounds made number 1. Number 3 is the one that draws me in, lawn darts. Back when lawn darts were lawn darts.
Yeah, it wasn't even that long ago you could still buy actual lawn darts.
Well, the best part about lawn darts was after you had your game, then you see who could throw it the highest and if it came down and landed on your head or not. Who would move out of the circle?
You're playing chicken with lawn darts?
Yeah.
See, this is the reason why they changed the lawn dart.
Hey.
People like you.
We also did it with a bow and arrow. Come on. It was a different time, Steve, the 60s. You had to be there, man. We did everything with whatever we could find. There was no video anything. There was no technology. It was stuff you found in the street or in somebody's garbage can, and you played with it.
How did your generation survive?
Well, look at us.
I don't know.
We're big, we're strong, we're happy.
So what's the exact question here? Things from your childhood that would be considered dangerous today?
Yeah. The discussion is, what sort of things did you play with then that would never be allowed now?
I can give you one right off the top of my head.
Okay.
Just riding a bike without a helmet. You can't do that these days.
I can.
Yeah, I think if you're over 18, but like as a child, it is mandatory to wear a helmet.
And let me just chime in on that. Wussy boy. We rode around in the back of pickup trucks, on the back of drunk cars, and we did all kinds of stupid stuff, including what you just told me not to do. No, you couldn't even buy a helmet for riding a bicycle.
I'm not defending the helmet here. I'm just saying I grew up without a helmet too.
Oh, you did?
But today's kids...
Well, that explains a lot.
It certainly does. But today's kids, it's mandatory to wear a helmet. When I was a kid, I don't even know if I did have a helmet until I was probably 21 and was doing this race where it was mandatory.
I think the kid, like my youngest grandkids, they got a helmet on all the time.
Yeah.
Whether you're skating or on a toboggan or riding a bike or doing whatever you're doing, wear the lid. I'm totally in favor of that. Never had one on my head.
Neither did I.
Okay, and look at us. Look at us now.
Explains a hell of a lot now that I think about it.
It sure does.
Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
I brought up the CoinStar Machine.
Yeah, I had no clue that these things even existed except in a bank.
Really? Yeah, no, I was watching a guy pump in shopping bags full of change on the weekend into this CoinStar Machine. And basically, you don't need to sort or anything. You just dump your change in there and it spits out cash. But here's the catch. There's always a catch.
There's got to be a catch.
Because it just seemed too good to be true.
Yeah.
There's an 11.9% coin processing fee.
Let's call it 12%. You dump in $100 worth of coins, you're going to get $88.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense.
Sure, I'm good with that.
They have to make money somehow. And if you don't have to sort, I mean, I haven't done this recently, but certainly back in the day, sitting down with one of those little paper tubes and stuffing in 50 pennies just so I can go get 50 cents from the bank.
Hey, there was a time before stuffing tubes. It was just a piece of paper. It was flat. You had to roll the whole thing, like rolling a cigarette back in the day. And you'd get started on it, and then you started to, it looks like I'm going to be good. And you move your finger at the end, and then they all fall out. And you got to unravel it and start over again. There was a time when there was just a flat piece of paper, no tube.
We even had, it was like a piece of plastic on an angle, but you just line up your coins and it had marks for, this is 50 pennies or however many quarters or loonies you needed. And then you just kind of shimmy the cardboard tube on top of that. Made it easier.
So we can just go and dump this in there.
Go to your CoinStar, dump it in. Yeah. You're going to lose a bit in that processing fee.
Yeah, but think how much you'll gain by getting rid of all the pennies and nickels that are in every jar in every corner of your house. Yeah. There's coins everywhere.
And it looks like this machine does take pennies. There's a big picture. It's like a step-by-step on how to do this. Number 1, there's a picture of a jar full of change, including pennies.
Right.
2, the machine. 3, cash. 3 simple steps.
So has it got like a big hopper on it and you just dump it in there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It was making quite the noise when I was in the grocery store checkout on the weekend.
Well, I might have to go have a look at that.
It reminds me of back in the casino days when you actually used coins in the machine, and then you brought that big cup of quarters, and they dumped it into the big machine.
And then here's your $5, sir.
That's exactly what it sounded like. It was like being in a casino in 2003.
Well, this could be kind of fun.
I'm not sure this was designed for entertainment, but in your case, pure entertainment.
It's going to take me a couple of weeks just to round up all my pennies and nickels.
Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
All right. I was on the horn yesterday with one of our counterparts in Ontario, and we got talking about golf. He was telling me about some of the golf courses they have in that area, and he brought up the fact that we have Cottonwood Coulee Golf Course in Medicine Hat. And he says to me, What's a coulee?
Oh, really?
And I was like, you know, it's just a bit of a dip. Bit of a dip in the ground. So like a valley? Yeah, I guess it's like a valley, I guess.
No.
Kind of?
No.
So, I don't know. I've just always grown up with the Coulees, like growing up in Lethbridge.
Yeah.
It's the Coulees.
It's the Coulees, but it's the actual formation of the ground. It's not the valley. It's a little mountain is what a coulee is, I think.
Okay. So I'd never had to explain that to anybody before.
Yeah, we need to brush up on that because we may get that question again.
It's just funny. I've always grown up with coulees. I knew what a coulee was.
Yeah.
Didn't have to explain it to anybody until today.
And that golf course is located in a coulee.
Yes, exactly. So that had me thinking, what is like a word or term that you would have to explain to somebody who's not from that particular area?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking for some good ones.
Do you have another example?
I have one, and this happened to me in college, right when I started college, because there'd be a lot of people from Saskatchewan who'd come over to Lethbridge and take the broadcasting program. And that's the first time I heard the word bunny hug.
Bunny, okay.
There was a lot of conversations between these Saskatchewan folk about the bunny hug.
That is a Saskatchewan thing.
And then finally, I just had to ask somebody, what in the hell is a bunny hug?
Yeah.
Well, it's just a hoodie. Why don't you call it a hoodie?
You know what we called it growing up?
What?
A kangaroo jacket.
I think I've heard that as well.
Yeah, because they had pockets in the front, so it was like a kangaroo
pouch.
It never referred to it ever as a hoodie.
Well, I always grew up with it being a hoodie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was 19 years old that I heard bunny hug for the first time. And I still think that's a very awkward way to describe a hoodie.
Yeah.
But
I kind of like it. I don't have a problem with bunny hug.
This is Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
We had a question up on our Facebook page this morning. What's a word/term you have to explain to someone who's not from the area?
Right.
And this comes from a conversation I had yesterday with a gentleman in Ontario. We got talking golf, and he asked me about Cottonwood Coulee Golf Course, and wasn't quite sure what a coulee was.
Right.
I did my best to explain it, but that's the first time in my life I've had to explain what a coulee was, because I've just grown up with it. It's always been common terms around here, right?
The Coulees.
So we put that out there, and there's a few on our Facebook page that, like, I've never even heard of. Right off the top, borrow pit, which apparently is a ditch.
A borrow pit.
I've never heard that term for a ditch.
Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe we should have got a hold of some of these people.
Rob said that some people can't believe ice roads. He's from the Northwest Territories. Drive on the ice roads. He has to explain that to people that, yes.
Ice Road Truckers, man. Great show.
Yeah, that's right.
They can drive on anything up there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Bunny hug was one that I brought up earlier. That's your hoodie, but in Saskatchewan, it's the bunny hug.
I get a kick out of the Coulee dip because I think it was Jennifer said that she called in to report an accident, and obviously the 911 operator is not here, right? And she said the accident's in the Coulee dip, and the operator had no idea what that meant or where it was. But everybody who lives in Medicine Hat knows where the Coulee dip is.
I learned very quickly, like it was within the first 6 months I moved here, the news director sent me out to go to an accident at the Coulee dip, and I kind of, should I ask what it is, or do I just figure this out on my own?
Yeah, you got to ask.
Yeah. Here's one I'd never heard of. Cynthia wrote this one. Right chicken.
Right chicken.
Right chicken, which means right away.
Right away? Right chicken?
I'll get you those files, right chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard that one before.
Maybe it's a new hip thing that we're missing out on. I know son Brody always says left or Larry and Randy.
Yeah,
for left turn, right turn, Larry and Randy.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a regional thing.
No, I was a Ralph and a Larry. Take a Ralph here.
And a Larry?
Yeah, take a Larry, take a Ralph.
Well, I like Randy better.
Okay, I'm sorry. Kaiser, Selena said Kaiser, but I knew that was a card game. You didn't.
No.
I don't know why I knew that.
But is it synonymous with Southern Alberta?
I have no idea. It was on a
Kaiser.
computer, I think, that we used to have, a little small computer system.
I just know it as a pretty good bun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Most people would know it as a bun.
Get a burger on that, baby.
Dollar fries, I've heard that term before, but I'm not exactly sure.
That just sounds like a deal on French fries.
Yeah, would it
Isn't
not
it?
be? And
Dollar fries?
or those thicker fries.
Oh, maybe. Oh.
Maybe that's why I know the term.
Oh, maybe it's the round ones.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Hey,
sure,
there's
yeah.
your dollar fries.
Look like a dollar.
Look like a loony, Stephen.
See, look at us figuring out things
Boy,
this
we're
morning.
pretty good at this. Let's keep doing it.
Debbie said Vico, and I had to Google this one and confirmed with her. Vico was like a chocolate milk in Saskatchewan.
So, but I've heard people here saying, get a Vico for the kids. What? Get a what?
See, I've never heard
What
this.
the hell's a
before.
Vico? I don't know either.
Well, now you know it's chocolate milk.
I mean, and a lot of these strange things, have you noticed, are coming from that province next to us? and these are people, full-grown adults, who will take and hollow out a watermelon and then put the shell on their head. Okay? So that should explain why a lot of these things maybe don't make sense.
Enough said.
Yeah.
And AJ's said tiger tail. I'm not sure if he's referring to ice cream on that one or if we're out to lunch.
Has it got something to do with the hockey team?
I don't know.
Way back when you weren't even thought of, SO used to have a tiger.
Yes.
That was kind of their mascot. And back in the day, you actually got a tiger tail.
Yes, I know that.
And put it on your antenna.
I do remember that. There was still some hanging around when I was a kid.
Was there?
Yeah, yeah. Wouldn't you also get like glasses from SO?
Oh, no, those were Petro-Canada for the
Petro-Canada.
Olympics and things. Yeah.
Is that what it was?
I had a couple of sets, but you wash them a few times and all the gold stuff came off.
Memories.
Memories with John and Steve.
This is Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
Since you just bought a house, you're perfect for this story. Nothing like finding a home you love, and it's perfect in every way, except maybe you heard it was haunted, or it didn't have that breakfast nook you wanted. 40% of people say they've actually decided not to buy a house because of a superstition.
Oh.
Do you have any superstitions when you were looking for a house?
No, we just wanted something that had, all the walls intact.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 40% say, nope, not going to buy. I want this house, but I can't buy it because of perhaps one of these things. These were the top superstitions or reasons why they opted out of buying a particular house. Something bad happened inside the house.
Were we just talking about Amityville Horror this week?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
And that was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
I felt bad vibes inside the house. Now, when you were looking at homes, did you feel any vibes when you were in a home? Like, oh, this one feels good.
Vibes, smells were more.
Yeah, smells.
There was a few stinky ones in there.
Yeah, well, that automatically kills the sale of your house.
Yeah.
Make it smell good. Bake some bread, throw some cloves in some water, and put them on the stove.
Actually, one of the houses we checked out on the Southeast Hill,
Yeah.
the realtor was telling us, I guess the house had been on the market for a while, but he was like, yeah, she usually bakes a pie or some apple crisp the day she knows somebody's coming to look at the place.
Perfect. Some people said it had an unlucky address, so they'd want to buy it. Maybe like 1313 13th Street.
Okay, that'd be a bad one.
It was on a street with an unlucky name, like, I don't know, Dagger Street.
Dagger? Okay, that's better than I can come up with offhand.
Some people bailed out because it was an unlucky time of the year. What would be an unlucky time of the
Friday
year?
the 13th?
Maybe. The layout of the home had bad Feng Shui.
Feng Shui.
The Feng Shui.
The
I
Feng
see a
Shui.
lot of that out there. You'll notice a lot of front doors of homes being painted black. Isn't that Feng Shui?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
thought
it is.
Feng Shui was more about like
Lining
when you're
stuff up.
Well, like when you're sitting on the couch, you
Yeah.
should be facing east or something like that. That's Feng Shui, man.
You're facing east right now.
Yes, I am. That's because I got good feng.
Me too, and I'm facing west.
You're a little more shui.
And some people didn't want to buy the house as much as they liked it because it was too close to a cemetery. That wouldn't bother me.
Of course not, because it would be easy access.
You know what? We're just going to move on, okay?
Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
What are we approaching? Almost 3 weeks since you had your eye surgery? That was February 28th you had it?
So it'll be 3 weeks on Sunday.
3 weeks. Okay, how is everything? You have a bit of a Mickey Mouse bouncing ball situation.
I got a bouncing ball bouncing around inside my eye. Other than that, I can see like an eagle.
Well, we're going to test that right now.
Uh-oh.
It's been almost 3 weeks since your retinal detachment surgery. Let's see how that eye is progressing.
What?
I'm going to hold up some pieces of paper. Each one has a letter on it, and they will get progressively smaller. So,
Oh, really? So you've actually put some effort into this?
I mean, it wasn't a lot,
No.
but there was some effort. And I think quickness is a factor in this one. So
Why?
don't waste any time. Well, just to make sure that your Hawkeyes. Okay,
Yeah.
here we go.
I am a funny jerk.
All right, his eyes are perfectly fine.
You used a lot of ink.
I just wasted about 12 cents worth of paper just to try to make you say I am a jerk.
And I said it.
Yes, which I can splice together
I see.
to make it sound relatively smooth.
And you do that to me?
Do I even have to answer that question? Hey, jerk.
Jack Mornings with John and Steve.
1/2 hour ago, I decided I should test your eyesight. It's been almost 3 weeks since you had the retinal detachment surgery, so I held up a series of letters for you to read live on the air. You did not know what was coming. And
Well, no, but I could figure it out. I knew what was coming.
But through the magic of editing, this is the final product of John's eye test. Go ahead,
What if I don't want to?
please.
I am a jerk. That's not even funny.
Oh, this is such a giant leap forward for broadcast radio.
I am a jerk.
Oh, yes, you are.
Are you happy now?
Yeah. I mean, we can just cancel the show now and I'll be...
That makes you feel pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay.
One more time, for old time's sake.
Oh, for God's sake, Stephen, you're so easily amused. I am a jerk.
Jack Mornings with John and Steve on Jack 1021.
You heard anything about a basketball tournament that's starting tonight?
Let's see, it's March. There's usually some madness going around this month. March Madness?
Yeah, of course it got wiped out last year. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal?
It's a much bigger deal in the U.S., I think, than it is here. Although I know tons of guys that and women.
Filling out the brackets, man. It's all about the brackets.
They said 40 million Americans will fill out their bracket, which is picking the winner in all the games.
You know, I wouldn't even know where to start. I would just fill in the blanks like I did on my English diploma final and just barely pass.
Let's see, it was A the last two times. It's got to be B. Gonzaga, from what I've read, and they're not far from here, right? Gonzaga, isn't it down in Oregon or...
Oh, I didn't think you were speaking English there.
Oh, really?
Gonzaga?
Obviously, you don't follow it either. Yeah, they're the favorite to win this year, along with, I think, Florida State. And so it means nothing to me.
Gonzaga.
Yeah. You find it?
Yeah.
You probably spelt it wrong.
I definitely did. But thank God for Google corrections here. Where are they? Spokane, Washington.
Spokane.
So they're not too far from here.
Spokane. Fine city. So they're the ones that people are putting all their dough, and you can bet big on these tournament games.
The brackets, man. That's what I'm saying. It's all about the brackets.
Yeah, I know nothing about brackets. Last time I filled out a bracket, it was at Home Depot. I'm doing some shelving at home. Oh, that was just pathetic. Come over here and hit me.
Hold on. Before we exit this terrible segment, I want to admit, I was also working on a terrible bracket joke, very similar to what you said.
Okay.
But thankfully, you spit it out first.
So I'm the big Richard.
And look like the idiot.